Hi everyone, I'm Martin and welcome to another great edition of Astronomy for Beginners, and today I'm going to do a unboxing sort of guide. Basically, I'm basically going on a business trip to Kenya, and which is going to be a lifetime experience for me. It's one of those things where I'm in a dark, clear sky, the darkest that I've ever been, and I'm actually quite looking forward to it. However, one slight problem. Trouble is when you travelling light is a necessity, especially if you've got an imaging rig with your telescope, your mount, your cameras, the power, the batteries, and all the other things you need for your imaging rig. So, obviously, I've been checking through all my mounts and all that, and none of my mounts seem to be quite light. And to travel around, I'll probably need to carry around about 30 kilos with just the imaging rig alone, which is quite a substantial lump to lug around, particularly around airports and stuff like that. Alright, so basically, I've been just hunting through the internet, researching absolutely everywhere for some kind of lightweight mount that I can use for astrophotography. And I like to come across this brand called Ioptron. Now, I'm not advertising here, guys. Alright, this is purely off my own back. I'm just showing certain things about this mount that I've just bought. Now, it's just arrived today, which is down here, and basically Ioptron have offered this fantastic mount, which is quite portable, it's quite manageable to lug around. It only weighs 5 kilograms. That's including the mount and the tripod itself, and it can hold to about 11 pounds of weight, which is ideal for my Lunt 80mm EE refractor. Combine that with a DSLR or my Orion Starship CCD with finding guider and the camera for that. Combined with all that, the mount still capable of holding that weight. And because it's so in a certain way that it's light and portable, it's got an absolute amazing, and I mean absolutely amazing power usage. I mean this mount draws literally 0.1 of an amp per hour. So basically, if I can run this thing on just normal 8 AA batteries, and I mean it's incredible, and it's 16 hours of use just from those 8 AA batteries. Obviously, I'm going to purchase a better portable lithium-ion battery, which is going to be a 15 amps per hour, and it's literally 300 grams, and it's about this big. Alright, and that would run the scope for tremendous hours. That's the reason why I got this mount, and I was also quite impressed on the build quality. Now, there's a lot of people who say that Ioptron don't get this because it's got nylon gears. And it says, oh yeah, it's Chinese made. Don't be fooled actually. I'm going to look at this box now and show you that the quality is actually quite high. This one I got, however, it does have metal gears. This is an upgraded version. This is the Ioptron Smart EQ Pro. And the good thing about this mount, being lightweight and good power usage, it also has a polar scope, and apparently the polar scope, and I've looked into it, is absolutely accurate. It is really easy to use, alright, and it even has an ST4 guide port as well built in. Now, it's not GPS, I'm afraid, but I'm sure there'll be some kind of uprate or something for a GPS to be mounted onto this mount. But what surprised me, you can't get a mount as light as 5 kilos holding a lot of weight. Now it sounds like that's a bit ropey and all that, but I've been looking to a lot of YouTube reviews on it, and the build quality is quite something. Also, another thing I also like to highlight is to you guys that I've noticed that where I'm going on my business trip to Kenya, because I'm right on the equator, I can't even use the southern hemisphere on the Ioptron's star alignment. To line up there, I can't even line up there. So Polaris is still going to be the only star I'm going to use to aid alignment. Now there is another issue. Checked on Stellarium and I was shocked. I was like, my goodness, you won't believe that Polaris is situated out in the night sky where that's the location I'm going. It's actually 0 degrees. 0 degrees. I could not believe it. So I quickly went back to my existing mounts, the EQ5 and the NEQ6 mounts, and believe it or not, none of those mounts can reach down to 0 degrees. Alright, maybe the NEQ6 down to about 10 degrees. So I was quite shocked really that none of my mounts would be able, well, I could be able to use it for polar alignment, so I can use it for astrophotography. However, this mount does offer it. This offers between 0 degrees to about 62 degrees, and that's the other issue that I want to consider getting this mount. Now, at the moment, this mount costs around about 430 to about 460 pounds. Alright, sounds a lot, but what you're getting, a lightweight mount with high, low power drain on there, and you can use it on, you can't use it on a massive imaging rig, alright, up to about 5 kilograms. Alright, it doesn't sound a lot, but believe me, I will prove to you further on we go through this guide that 5 kilograms does sound a lot, doesn't sound a lot, but believe me, I can get everything and I can prove that to you. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go to the seat, have a look down at the parcel, and we're going to have look on what we need to see, what's part of the package. Alright, so basically we're going to have a look in the box and see what contents is involved. Here's the box, quite a reasonably small box. Alright, it's very small. Alright, and first impressions, it's well packed. I've got it from Telescope Service, another fantastic telescope retailer. Alright, and believe it or not, I ordered this yesterday and it came in today. So that just shows you one thing about Telescope Service is they're very good customer service and they're very quick to react. So basically, it's well packaged, and we're going to take off this tape and all that, which is quite packed really. So, alright. So, nice good packaging from the inside. As you can see now, you can just about see what's there. Just move on the bubble wrap. It's also the instructions manual. Looks, it's a colourful one. Looks reasonably easy to follow. Looks like a quick guide to me. Looks like a registration, so you can register your product, and also for guarantee. Also, this has got, I believe, it's got a 2 years guarantee on these. And also, there's a customer service from Ioptron, which I really like as well. That's what I like about this. This obviously inside here is your hand controller. Little hand controller here. Right, with quite a big, large display unit here. So I'm actually quite impressed with that. put that in there. What's in this one? Even the cable is even boxed. So this must be the hand controller cable. Well, that's a first. Obviously, with telescope service, they always give you free sweeties as well. Right, we're going to take off the mount. We're going to quite reasonably packaged with this nice foam. Right. Tripod legs. It seems right. It's made out of plastic, but it's actually quite a good plastic. It's actually an ABS plastic from the look of the build. The legs are quite small. They're 1.25" on the top, and it looks like the inch on the bottom. It extends quite well. Yeah, even though it's made out of plastic, it's actually quite good. It's actually quite good material. So yeah, I do like the fold-away legs as well. Also, this will be the accessory tray. Yeah, little accessory tray, which again, this is something else I also like. It's got this integrated sort of key structure here. So basically, when you pull the legs apart, like so, pull them apart. See, I like this. This is what I like about the AZ GoTo mount. It just locks in place like that. It looks very similar. The plastic is quite robust. Look at that. It's quite sturdy, that. But look at it. Look at the size compared. It's actually more portable than the AZ actual tripod itself. So that's something else to consider. Alright, and it's got adjustable Allen key sets here, so you can adjust the tightness and all that, which is also not the horrible bolts. These are actually quite good quality bolts. In fact, believe it or not, 0.8 Allen bolts, so that's something to consider. So they've used good quality components. Now this is the counterweight. 1 kilogram counterweight, quite small. This is the mount we're talking about. I must say, that's actually quite compact, you know. So basically, what you have here, if we mount it on there, mount it on here, right, very compact. It's extremely light as well. Apparently this weighs around about 2.8 kilos, and believe it or not, it does. It has a built-in polo scope. Alright. Hopefully it is set. If not, we'll have to look into my tutorial later on. And even the cap itself is made out of metal. Not like the SimScan, where it's just plastic. This is actually metal. There's also the clamping screws for your altitude and your latitude as well. I do like this extension piece, alright, on here. You counterweight like that. Very good quality material. The casting is unbelievable. Also, even the cap here. Alright, the cap for the polo scope is plastic. Alright, let you down with that. But yeah, there's casting here. This part here is basically where, because it's self-contained, that's where the battery's going to go. Alright, so the batteries will go into here. The triple, we've had the double AA batteries, the 8 of them is.
that goes in here. Obviously that's where the controller thing goes, right, your handset, and I'm assuming that that is your auto guide port as well here, right. It's obviously a dovetail, right, it's a dovetail construction, alright, and it does have its locking for its latitude and altitude sort of thing as well, bolts. Again, they're all made out of metal, despite them having the plastic knobs on there, but it is actually made out of metal. Right. Again, it's still got 12 volt supply here as well, so you can run it off on other power external sources. Right, and wow, I'm actually quite impressed with the build quality. It looks manageable, and the good thing is this mount will enable you to do casual stargazing and astrophotography. And the one thing I am concerned, which I need to check, if I go for just one of the screws. Oh yes, perfect. It can go past -1 degrees on this mount. So straight away, already impressed that this mount actually goes to -1 degree. So, and that's what I'm looking for, because where I'm going, Kenya, that's where Polaris is. Right, so yeah, initial thoughts already. I think I've got a good buy here, without a doubt. I mean, look at how compact that is. So what we're basically going to do is going to have a look at what also we're going to assemble it together. Okay, we're going to assemble the tripod, alright, like so. So we're going to extend it. And as you can see yourself here, very impressive. That's actually quite sturdy, that, but it's extremely light as well, and that's something that I particularly want. Already, that's taken literally nanoseconds. Obviously, this is the dial where it's going to sit. Alright. The good thing is about this mount, and the one thing that concerns me, right, this is already set to Northern Hemisphere. So basically what I need to do, if I want to set this mount so that it goes to 0 degrees, I basically need to move this dial to this position here. Right, there's a screw here, and then what that enables me is to enable the mount so that it can go from 0 degrees and onwards. Right, but for demonstration purposes only, right, I'm not going to touch this until I look into it a bit more. Right, so obviously I'm going to set it up as if we're going to set it up for normal use. Right, really fantastic quality. A lot of guys give bad press and bolts not working and all that. Don't rely on the manufacturer's grease on the normal bolts, alright? I mean, this is, in fact, it's only lightly greased. It's not brilliant, but ideally I would use the white liquid grease on these jacking bolts. Now, obviously, it's got two positions for the latitude or for the altitude. So it's on the lowest position, so that I can do the 0 degrees alignment. So obviously I need to wind this out a bit more. It's quite a long jacking bolt actually. Right, and then just position it here, like so. Right. So that bit of the jacking bolt from the top. This, by the way, the hole that is taken off can be used for storage as well. So you can actually put this bolt all the way in, so for easy transportation. Otherwise, what happens is that if you're carrying it around, you might bend the bolts or something. But from the look at the quality on these bolts, is that they're much better than the NEQ6 bolts from the look of it. You know, fairly high machine bolts, and it's quite smooth actually. Right, it's high enough anyway. We mount it on the mount, loosen these screws here, like so. Okay, and then we just mount off the bottom screw like normal bolts here. Ooh, that's quite firm, that. I'm actually quite impressed with that. Basically, you just unscrew it up there. Also, I'm going to re-grease the threads here and particular areas from there. Right. But to tell if you're on the right sort of right, there's a dial here, just on the top, alright, that tells you the latitude in degrees. Right, so this is just a friction clamping screw, and you just tilt it all the way up. Obviously my latitude ran down 51 degrees. That's set around that 51 degrees, and then I just basically tighten this one up, this clutch, right? Wow, very smooth. That just pops out like so. Just on this point here, it moves slightly here. Well, you basically lock this, and then that gives you the movement. Alright, so basically you can lock your screw here. That point. What I do like is, if I come up, do a closer look. That's something else I do like. It's already got the lines set up for your home position, which is something else to point out to you guys. It's even got lines already marked out, which I particularly like. Alright, very nice. I like that. Alright, so I've got some nice touches, you know. We could actually have a look at the polar scope, see what we've got here. Alright, that's something I have noticed. This doesn't allow you to take your cap off, so you have to readjust this bolt here. It's only tight, it's a tight fit. So there is one slight fall, but come on, it's not that bad. We just basically lower that down, alright, like so. So that's something I have noticed. So see, we just lower that down. If you go from 50, the polar scope cap doesn't let you take it out. So you can get it out now. Yes, that's better. Right, it's metal construction as well, so there's no plastic. We can have a look. Obviously, when I get mounted, that's a different reticle for the polar scope. That's very impressive. That's a very good reticle. That. Obviously, on the handset, when you're doing polar alignment, it tells you where Polaris is positioned, and you can move the reticle over to that certain degree, where it's at. Apparently it's really easy to use, so that's something else to take point of. But yeah, it's still got it's like all the bolts are in good quality bolts, all right, and you can, let's have a loose. Yeah, so smooth, but it'll be even smooth once I get a bit of grease on all the bolts. There's a lock screw for your. Look at that, smooth. Yeah, I like that. I actually like that. I mean, that keeps rocking and all that. There's no weight to it and all that, but that's the lock nut for your RA axis, right? So that's really smooth for your RA axis.
Then you've got the lock screw for, I've no idea what that is. I'm sure that's just another locking bolt from there. So I don't even know what that is. But I know what that bolt is there for your dovetail. But as you can see, it's small, it's very compact, and this is the sort of thing I'm looking for. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount my telescope on there, alright, and show you how, you know, the weight of my scope. What we're going to do now, I'm just measuring my complete portable imaging rig, which includes me 80mm Lunt ED doublet refractor, followed by the Orion Starshoot G3 CCD colour camera, and then I've used the converted 9x50 guider with the QHY 5V CCD with the scope rings and the dovetail. And to my surprise, believe it or not, this is the measurement in grams, 3,807 grams, which basically equates to 3.8 kilograms. All right, for this total weight of the rig. All right. Don't forget, there's also obviously I've got my juice straps on there as well. That also equates to the weight. But that's everything included on my entire imaging rig setup, which proves that it's not actually overloaded the mount on the Ioptron mount. So I'm quite impressed so far at the moment. Managed to get this amount of weight on there. But obviously, always check the weight of your existing scopes before you do make any purchases. Obviously, I have done myself, and believe it or not, I'm quite lucky with my Lunt being quite light for an 80mm ED doublet. So I'm quite impressed, really. But just to let you guys know, just check before you do anything. So it is within the payload limit anyway, around about 70, maybe 75%. I haven't done any calculations as such, but I'm guessing that's what it's going to equate to anyway. But I just thought I'd just show you to let you guys know what I'm talking about the weight issue. Obviously the Smart EQ mount can handle 5 kilograms maximum, but it's not always advised to go at that limit when you're doing astrophotography. Back to the mounts, and I've installed my Lunt 80mm ED doublet refractor, combined with my finder guider, which is basically my guide scope and the QHY 5V. And basically my Orion Shoot ultra portable G3 colour CCD. Now at the moment it's steady, but basically this is the maximum limit I've pushed the mount up. And okay, there's a few slight flaws, and one of them is that if I loosen the RA clutch, alright, the counterweight isn't adequate, to be honest with you. I found out that the counterweight is actually 0.9 kilograms. However, luckily for me, the bearing seemed alright, it seemed smooth, alright, but the counterweight is not great, even though most of the weight is here, because the mount's designed to not have a lot less counterweight. So there was an alternative to that. If I loosen the counterweight and we install, I install a 2 kilogram counterweight. Now this is basically one of my old counterweights, and I'm installing this with, it fits into a 60mm shaft, So basically slide that in. That's something else I don't particularly like is as you lift it up, it lifts this jacking bolt and all that. But bear in mind, I'd love to have seen a jacking bolt here underneath to hold it in, but there isn't any. But it is a portable mount. What can you expect? You know, if we just put the toe stop bolt, loosen the RA. Again, it's still top heavy, but I have got a lot of weight. I've got all my dew shield, all my dew heaters on there. The thing is with mounts is you do get TV problems. You know, they're not going to work automatically. I'll have to do a few tweaks to that. But the RA is very steady. But I need to sort out that counterweight issue. Maybe if I put some on the batteries, maybe that might help as well. Alright, that might also help if I put the batteries in, because I ain't got no batteries on it at the moment. So that's probably what the case is. If I install the batteries, that'll give me my weight balance a little bit different. I'm guessing that's probably what's the case on here. So not to worry. As you can see, the mount is good. It's very sturdy. The one thing I'm a bit disappointed is that the legs aren't up too much of the tripod's legs. There seems to be a bit of flexion, but I think it probably helps if I lower the tripod down to as low as possible, because it's not needed for you to extend all the length all the way up anyway. There's no need for it when you're doing actual photography. For visual, it's fine, but I'll always lower the legs down anyway. But I've not actually overloaded it still. It's still capable of holding around about 5 kilograms. So really, if I do away with the dew heaters and all that, and obviously modify the dovetail to a certain degree, maybe I'll lower the weight in there. Now obviously 80mm is probably the maximum you're going to put onto this mount. Alright, so you're not going to put a lot of weight. Now if you're going to use it for actual photography, then 80mm, providing it's now new tube and all that, you're pushing, you're basically, that's about as much as you can put it, 80mm. But it's more adequate, it seems to hold it very well, even with this 4 kilograms of weight. So, for your guys who are refractor owners, who imagery refractors, then 80 is the utmost you can do. Alright, when we're looking at this, alright, it is sturdy, but I reckon a 80mm is the max, and around about 70 or 60mm Apple refractor would be ideal. Alright. I mean, don't forget I've got a lot of weight on it, so, and the tube isn't exactly light either, because the tube is around about 3 kilograms, and plus all the other stuff on top and all that. I might need to reduce the weight here because the dovetail is a bit on the big side, so that's probably something else I might need to do, is probably cut this dovetail down so that I can reduce the weight a little bit more. Obviously there's a good amount of weight here that I can reduce. So the thing is, it's sturdy. Counterweight balance problems, yeah, I can understand. Right, so there's got a bit of counterweight balance problems, but that's not to worry, because with the counterbalance I can probably readjust that. Not too bad. you're gonna get, I don't like this bit where you can, even with the jacket bolt here, you can still lift the thing here, but again, I think I'll be a bit too picky here, so just bear with me. But this is my imaging rig, my portable imaging rig, and you can see for yourself, it's not bad for what it is really. Obviously I'll do an update on doing a review on how it performs and all that. But looking at the build quality, it is actually rather good, and being light, and I mean incredibly light. Put it this way, look at this. Picked it up, just no problems at all. I reckon all of this weighs around about 9 kilos for the whole lot. So it's really quite light. You know, I'm really quite impressed on how light it is. But that's what I want. I reckon I can get all this in a hard suitcase and all that, all in one. And once I've got the batteries and all that running for it, I've basically got an imaging rig ready to go that I can take to Kenya, no hassles. Right, so I've just thought to share my findings on this mount. Alright, there are a few glitches, but I'm going to try and find ways to improve them. Alright, but there's no mount, no matter what you buy, does not work straight out of the box perfectly. I guarantee that. Alright, so to you guys, this isn't a cheap mount, and you do pay for what you get. But again, it doesn't work out of the box straight away as you wish you want it to be. Alright, so please, for your guys out there, get that into your heads. Even if you haven't got the most expensive mount, you know, like the NEQ6 for example, or even more higher quarter ones, there's still going to be TV problems. Alright, so again, I'm going to go through, improve on the mount and all that, and apart from that, I hope you enjoy watching this unboxing guide. I look forward to sending some more guys on this mount, and I'll inform you on how it performs. Alright, so thanks again, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a nice guys. I'm doing a comparison on compared to the EQ, the Smart EQ from Ioptron, to the good old Skywatcher AZ go-to mount. As you can see for yourself, there's not much sort of difference, just that the EQ seems a tad smaller. Alright, and obviously you got the EQ, obviously you got the AZ go-to as well. Alright, both measuring them up, I'm lifting them both up. The EQ mount itself is a little bit heavier than the AZ. Alright, but it's still rather compact compared to the AZ, being the tripod legs are slightly smaller, but the legs look very similar to each other, just about. Alright, they look very similar. So the legs are much of the same, but the head unit itself on the EQ mount is much better quality. It's all metal on one side. There is a bit of plastic here, but it's only a cover. But the rest of the stuff is all cast aluminium. So it's really good casting that, and the bearings are unbelievably smooth, so smooth. One thing I need to point out that I like the string. It hooks on there, it's a good idea, but to be honest with you, I rather like the plastic clip on there. I prefer that. It might be an idea to just use that clip on there on this mount and then have that to sit on there. But if I just measure, you know, see what it's like on how it sits, maybe I could get away with it. Oh yeah, it's not that snug at all really. Alright, it's worth a try. Right, I thought
I do like a plastic clip, I think. This string is a good idea, it's a simple idea. But there are times and places where I think I like the good old plastic clips, to be honest with you. But I just thought I'd show you a comparison between the two. Obviously the AZ Go-To is a lot lighter, but this is a lot more compact. And like I say, to highlight that this part here, this is actually metal. This is actually a metal casting, right? Whereas on the AZ, it's just plastic. Alright, but that is actually metal, that bit. Also, there's one thing that I need to highlight. There are a few twitches on there which I need to adjust, but I'll go through on the next video. But I should just give you a good comparison between the both. Alright. Battery life on that mount is going to last a lot longer compared to the AZ Go-To, without a doubt. But I'm actually quite looking forward to this, see how this performs. So just to demonstrate the potential of the Ioptron Smart EQ mount, to show its true portability. Basically, I've got my travel case that I take with me on holidays, and basically it's around about 40 centimeters in the width, 38 centimeters height, and around about 90 centimeters length. So this is the box I carry. It's got wheels underneath, so I can drag it on like a suitcase. I'm going to show you now how it all fits in. This is basically my entire imaging rig. So I'll loosen the clamps. As you can see for yourself, you see the tripod fit in with loads of room. I've kept the original pads and all that, so it protects the legs. I've got the accessory tray in the corner, but as you can see, there is loads of room. Potentially you can put eyepieces or any other accessories. Right? I haven't put this telescope in here. If you've got smaller instruments, you may be able to get a smaller refractor in there, but I tend to rather just carry my own Lunt 80mm refractor with me, or as luggage, just because of my peace of mind. So basically I take off the mount, the tripod legs, and then we're just going to go over here. This is basically another case that I keep. Alright, I have everything. I have my portable battery, which we will go back to that. In here, that's where my gyroscope is. I've got my counterweight down there, and I've got my CCD camera, my main engine camera, with the handset and all the leads and power leads and ST4 leads all in this box. Alright, so everything's all protected. Alright, pretty smart idea. And then here is the mount, believe it or not, all packed away. Now I've kept the original sponges. I found it quite useful, and it's all stored away nice and packed. Alright, and it just proves that with this mount, it's true what they say. It is absolutely fantastic how it will protect your. You can take it around with you, no problems. Alright, so that just shows what you can achieve with this mount. Alright, I managed to get everything in there. It weighs around about 17 kilos, which, alright, it's still a lot of weight, but it's a lot less than compared to other mounts and other accessories and telescopes, where you'll be looking around about 30, 40, probably even 100 kilos. You know, some people take with them on holidays. But just say that I've achieved just under 20 kilos to get everything I need, plus with loads of space extra for eyepieces and accessories. Now obviously I won't leave it like that. I usually pack some more stuff in here in the gaps if I've not filled it up with clothes or something like that. just to protect it even more. But that's just to show you guys the potential of what this mount can do for you. So I hope that's gave you a lot of interest here. Right everyone, I've just installed my batteries. Alright, I'm charging up. I've got the Energizer rechargeable batteries, because batteries can be expensive, so I've got the high quality ones. So I've got the batteries installed, which they usually house in this container here and this container here. Alright. Now obviously I've had to use a 2 kilogram counterweight. Alright, if I loosen the RA clutch, okay, it tilts, but that is actually balanced because the way of this mount, where the most of the motor drives are situated here, so basically it counts like an alternative counterweight. So tilting it, and you can see it's very smooth and quite balanced quite well. Alright, so I'm going to lock the clutches back. Right, obviously I've done a few improvements already. Okay, I've basically greased up my altitude bolts and my Altozimov bolts. It's the same sort of principle as what I've done on my recent guide, on my last guide on the EQ5 mount, uprating it. All the threads have been all greased up, even on the only on the thread parts of these locking screws. Alright, these were loose. Alright, so I've tied them up a bit more, so it looks a bit more sturdier. Alright, everything on the moving parts, even on the mount itself, where the big main bolt holds it, is all greased inside. Alright, you don't have to do it, but it's my personal preference. Alright, and it helps makes your mount move a lot smoother. As you can see yourself, you know, operating it and all that, all the bolts, it's nice and smooth. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch her on. So we're going to switch her on, and we're going to have a look at the handset. Right, that's the handset here. Alright, I don't think you can see that very well, but it basically tells you the 0 position, the RA, degrees, positions where they are, the altaz and the alt as well, and it tells you the date, time and where you are with the time. Quite a lot of information there at first. It's not a totally different setup compared to SynScan. Obviously this is called the GoToNova handset. Alright, and there's not much menus here, but you've got like slew and select, you've got sync to target, set controller, and you've got an align. Obviously the align must be to do your actual stuff, alignment of the 2 stars or 3 stars and all that. But there's quite a lot here. I mean, you even set up the controller, you press enter, set up your date, time, display and beep. So you've got an anti-backwash. And the one thing I did notice, and I think this was absolutely fantastic, there's an option called Meridian Treatment. Basically, this mount gives you the function, if you're imaging a DSO and you have to go over the meridian, it's a certain part of the sky that once it gets there, it will start affect tracking all that, and you end up getting tracking errors in the images and stuff like that, because basically what's happened is that the object's already over the meridian. So obviously this handset, you can either perform a stop tracking, stop the telescope from tracking, or there's another option, let the telescope flip over. So basically the whole mount will flip over to the other side automatically, and then straight away begin your imaging straight away. Alright, you might ruin a frame or so collecting the data, or there's an option where you just continue the tracking, which I find is an absolutely fantastic little function there. We have to notice. Also, it's got your line and so forth. Very easy setup, mind you. And all your slew buttons is like you press 1, and there's your deck motor, and there's your RA motor. So what we're going to do is go for the fast slew, and just show you how the drive handles this 3.8 kilogram weight. So I'm moving the deck motor, and as you can see, this is on the fastest slew, and it's handling quite well. Very smooth. It's not struggling. Obviously, there's like a little backdraft decoder there. But look at it, it's smooth. This is actually running off the batteries itself. Very smooth. I actually quite like this. Alright, so we're going to try and test the RA. So we're going to test the RA. And again, very smooth, in how it handles that weight. Which tells me that this mount can perform up to the 5 kilogram, and as it stays perfectly, and we're just going to move it that way. Now there are different other speeds, but I don't want to go too much in detail on the speeds, but bear in mind there's 9 speeds, alright, and as you see for yourself, that it's noisy at first, but what we'll do is we'll test a speed. We'll test like a normal tracking speed. So we press 2 or something. I mean, that's quite fast. We'll test number 1. Alright, it's got a slight hum to it, but it's not earth-shattering. It's actually quite quiet, so it's not like the old media GoTo mounts there. They were hideously noisy, even on when they were tracking. Now, also I'm quite impressed with that, and also I'm trying to work my way around this handset. We might have a quick close look on the polar scope and see if that's illuminated or something. So what we're going to do is the only trouble is about this mount is that to take the cap off, you have to readjust that so to get the cap off. But we'll have a look. Yeah, that's the reticle. Obviously it's not illuminated, which is a bit of a shame really, because I really would have liked to have had an illuminated reticle. But that's not to worry, because if it's not illuminated, if I can't find any information, because I haven't looked at the manual yet, there might be a mod where I can just put a little red LED light here and do it that way. It's probably the best way to do it, is have it that reticle sort of illuminated in that sort of sense. Would make it a little bit easier. But obviously I'm expecting far too much, because usually, you know, even the EQ5 mount doesn't have that. Right, and that's alright, it's a lot bigger than this mount. But what do you expect? from a portable EQ mount. I mean, you can't really grumble. I mean, to say this is quite lightweight and it's quite sturdy, alright, there's a few flaws with certain things, like if you're just in the counterweight here, you might lift the actual altitude by mistake, because there's no clamping bolt on the other side. And also taking off the cap here, yeah, you have to tilt it down for you to take it off, which is a bit of a farce really, but you can see how close it gets when I screw the cap in there. Alright, it's not perfect, but again, as I mentioned before, don't go wrong, you can't go wrong with a bit of grease on the threads, and you can see how smooth that is now of me jacking that up. Alright, nice and smoothly. Alright, you can see how easy it is. So far, first impressions are good. Alright, after a few tweaks, alright, it's even better. But hopefully I will do a guide and see how it performs, and obviously I'm going to look forward to going to Kenya and try this baby out, and also I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But as you can see, I'm actually quite chuffed to bits with this. Alright, so I reckon it's money well spent, but I'll keep you tuned, guys. Alright, don't fret. Alright, we're here to help you. If you've got any burning questions regarding this guide, please feel free to ask us anytime. Alright, and we will help you along the way. So thanks for watching, and hope you have clear skies, and goodbye.